I'm Heathen. Welcome to Heathen's Garage. Today we're finally getting a proper transmission and a torque converter into that truck. Now normally we like working in this barn, but well, it's a little full in here right now. So we're in the home garage, which is actually a much nicer place to work anyways. Folks, if you've been following along for a while, you'll know that we just put this Turbo 400 transmission together. We're not going to spend a great deal of time in showing the transmission R&R, because if you've been around for a while or followed the channel, you've probably seen that, I don't know, 4 times. I take the transmission in and out of this thing a lot. Hopefully this transmission is the end of that game and it just works properly. But I put it together, so who knows. First things first, this center console has to come out. Oh yeah, it's so complicated. Now what we do is we want to pull this center console out, which means the removal of these bolts. All of those. Up she goes. It's not really a good time for that, Alice. We're taking it apart. Ready? We can't go for a ride right now. No, we can't. We can pull all these top bell housing bolts out, leave the bottom 2 in. We'll pull the dipstick tube out, get this disconnected, maybe get the shifter disconnected, and that'll put us in better shape when we lift it up off the ground. Maybe I need a bigger battery. Yep, need a bigger battery. Somebody made those too tight. Oh boy, did I ever mean it on those, eh? I was not gonna let those come loose, apparently. It's way easier if you break them loose first. Alright, dipstick tube, come on out. Yep. Oh, that's transmission fluid pouring on the ground, isn't it? That's unfortunate. Oh well. Nothing like starting off by making a mess. That's good. And this guy's got to come off. Yep. Vacuum hose has to come off. The modulator. Temperature gauge has to come out. Cooler lines need to come out. Yeah. There's one. Okay. Temp gauge is removed. Now we can get to our 2 tranny cooler lines. Come on now. Get off of there. There she goes. That's one. Now we fight the other one. The retainer bolt is out for this vacuum modulator. Now we just need to pull this guy off. And we pull this guy out. Now there's stuff behind this, so be aware of that. And I think there's a spring. Oops. It looks like that on an AMC. Well, it's particular to an AMC. That's all there is to that. There's also a valve in there that we should pull before we lose it. If it'll come. There we go. Looks like that. That's everything we needed to do inside. Let's get her on jack stands and do everything underside. Okay, so with just the back jacked up, we're gonna roll underneath there, loosen the transmission pans, and dump the oil. The reason we're doing it with just the back jacked up is because then all the oil runs to one side of the pan and, you know, I'll make less of a mess. At least that's the hope. Alright, we start in this corner because it's already dripping from here anywhere. And we're going to loosen all of these and leave this back corner tight. Whoops, that's the wrong direction. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Don't tell me I have to do some of these by hand. Who put this exhaust here? What a stupid place. Maybe I should have pulled this exhaust first. That would have made things easier. Yeah. Noted for next time. Exhaust first. Did I miss one? I feel like I missed one. Yeah, I missed one. How about we pull it now? There we go. Well, that's a lot. Okay. Perfect. Alright, how's the bottom of this look? Well, alright, plenty of junk in there. I think it might be a good thing that we're, swapping this transmission, because that's a lot of junk. Okay, well, we're under here. We gotta get this drive shaft out of the way, this cable out of the way, speedometer cable out of the way, transfer case shift linkage out of the way. Alright, these U-joint saddles are both removed. All we gotta do is give it a little pop right here, and out she comes. Just, that never goes as easy as it just went. Then we put this, we'll strap him over here or something out of the way. That's the plan. Maybe we'll just leave him on the floor. That's a good plan too. Speedo cable is super easy. Just unthread it, generally by hand. Out she comes. Out the middle part comes. This is easy too. It's just there's a snap pin kind of thing. I don't know what you call it. A clip. Anyways, you pull him out and then this will fall out. This emergency brake cable is really easy too. Just spin this loose. It's only about finger tight. Pull this one clip out. Push the whole thing out of the way. And figure out this out of your space somehow. These things are so hokey. I don't know how they managed to use them for so long. Get over there. Get over there, I said. Oh, yeah. Does that fit through? It does. Cool. Alright, that's out of the way. Okay, with the pan still removed so it can continue dripping, we're going to get the front end up, get the exhaust off, and go from there. Those two things I know. I can't remember what else. Oh, torque converter bolts. That's probably important at some point in time. Up she comes. Clamps are all loose. Hangers are off. Oh, how I hate this exhaust that I've built. Never should have been done this way. Next time, we'll do something better. I promise. It won't be like this. Also, this pipe doesn't need to be here. It could have been just whoop, whoop. This is all nonsense. Ow. Get out of there. Don't wreck the flex pipe, Ethan. Just get the pipe out of the pipe. Or whatever. Like, how can it be in there that far? Are you coming out? What is going on here? That right there. That is nonsense. And some other words that come to mind. Oh well, it's out now. Move on. Drive shaft is loose. Oil pan's back on so we can use the tranny jack. We still have torque converter bolts, this cross member, the tranny mount, starter, and a couple bell housing bolts. After that, she's ready to come out. But we're gonna go for lunch because it's 2 in the afternoon and I'm hungry. We kind of had a late start today. That's okay. Well, that's an electric smoker, but apparently that didn't stop me from lighting a fire. Okay, bump. Now you did. There we go. Hold. Now, if they're really stuck, what you gotta do is jam a screwdriver in there at the same time, and you should be able to break it free. Just like that. Perfect. Well, after the little fire, we elected to turn on some Lana Del Rey and just relax and do some more work. So the starter's out, the drive shaft's out, this cross member is all held in, but with two bolts maybe that don't even have nuts on them. All the mounts are undone, inverter's undone. It's all ready to come apart. That's what I'm trying to say. So we're gonna, just get a tranny jack under here and, do the things. Out she comes. That's what we're gonna do now. Look at that, eh? It's out. Now there's only one slight problem, and that is it's too high to get out. So now I'm in search of some taller jack stands so I can lift the front up, slip it out, get the new one on there, slip it back in, then put it back on the original jack stands so that none of the angles change. Should we go get some bigger jack stands, buddy? What do you think of that idea? Yeah, I can tell you're really in the mood for a big walk, hey? No, not at all, eh? Well, let's try anyways. Come on, pal. Are you coming? Come on, Elvis. Let's go for a big walk. Good boy. See, it's really nice out here, Elvis. How you doing? Are you happy to be outside? Oh yeah? You a happy dog? You're a pretty happy dog. Everybody stop. Hold up. Just wait a minute. It's a week later than when I just pulled that transmission out. And I was minutes away from starting the process of putting this transmission into that thing. And then I got a text message from Mr. JH Transmission. And he said, brother, well, I'll show you what he sent me actually. That'll make more sense.
Morning, buddy. So here's the hub. This is what the traditional front side washer would be. And I think that's what you put on in the video. That's best I could see anyways. This is the true backside washer. So the one with the little notches in it. It goes here. Glue it in with some trans gel. And then this one goes here. Minor adjustment, but it is critical that you take it apart and fix that. So service charge for today's advice is 3 pets and 2 good boys for Elvis.
In case that wasn't evidently clear, what I did was put a Torrington bearing on the wrong side of that drum. Yep. So back apart she comes. Happily, this is not a complicated deal. It's pump out, shaft out, switcheroo, back together. I'm sure it'll go that way too. In case that isn't obvious for everybody, what it basically means is I made a fairly large screw up while I was assembling this transmission. Now it isn't that big of a deal to fix, but had it been left alone, well, it'd probably be catastrophic. Now, in what equates to a sheer stroke of luck and, you know, just a pretty decent guy, JH Transmission happened to be watching the video where I put it together, and his eagle eye, due to experience, caught that. Which I'm pretty grateful about because, yeah, sure enough, it was definitely wrong. Also, incidentally, I had no excuse because the instructions were plain as day which way it was supposed to go, and when I looked back through messages with JH, he even told me straight up which way to put it, and somehow I still put it backwards. Are you a good boy? Yeah, you're a good boy. Oh, sorry, Luna, you weren't part of the deal. Yeah, you're okay too. Yeah, I'm just kidding. You're a good girl too. Yeah, you're a good boy. Good dogs. Alright, with that little bit of business summarily concluded, let's move on to something maybe a little more interesting. Also, I'm sorry it's so dark on this side of the shop. No, I just don't have any lights, actually. I was going to make up a story how something burnt out, but that wouldn't be true. I just don't have lights on this side very good. Right here we have, from Mr. JH himself, thanks again, sir, we have a torque converter. Yeah, how about that? This is a FTI model. It is rated for 750 horsepower. It's part of their street racer variety. And it should stall about 3,200. Hopefully that's good. We have ourselves exactly a quart of the finest multi-vehicle Dextron 3. Oh yeah, missed a little bit. Oh, gotta pour slower than that, I guess. Maybe, is it if you tip it? Is that what helps? Well, I'm succeeding in making a mess. Well, it's working. It's just taking its sweet time, that's all. Patience is required sometimes. I don't want to put it in there with not enough oil because, you know, in the scheme of this whole build, it was not the cheap part, you know? Now, just for fun, and because we can, why don't we do a little converter comparison? Hold on a sec. All right, look at what we got here. Hey, isn't this cool? What have we got here? This is a bone stock unit. Well, AMC bone stock specifically. It was like, I don't know, 12 or 1300 stall kind of deal. It was, you know, good for stock, I guess. Right here, this is a B&M Torque Master. It's basically your, very most genericest sort of, a little bit of an upgrade. I think it was a 2000 or 2400. In reality, it was more like 1800 if you were lucky. Which either means I'm not making as much power as I should, or it was just a little bit tighter. And we have our FTI that we just bought. Now there's a pretty obvious difference here between sizes and stuff. Weight, rotating mass, thickness of our pads. Look at them chunky boys, eh? They'll be all right. Hopefully. Now we just gotta install it. These two, well, this is just a good factory. This is well, we need to get as much fluid out of it as we can because we saw all that metal in there. We have to flush it somehow, but it's good for something. It's good enough for a spare, that's for sure. It's not the one you want, but definitely good enough for a spare. And this one, we're hoping is awesome. All right, now that we've talked about some torque converters, let's put the racy one in, hey? Obviously that's the right choice. Now we're gonna spill a little bit of fluid here. That's just the thing that's gonna happen. And we're okay with it. Okay, now we want three distinct clunks as it goes in. That was not one of them. That was just lining up. Sometimes you need to jiggle. There's one. Okay, that's one. Now on an AMC bell housing, which is not the same as a Chevy bell housing, one click basically puts you really close to level, maybe a little bit above. 2 clicks, which puts you, I don't know, a 1/4 inch in the hole. Or in the, this part will be there, from measured here to there. Now, get in there, the second click, come on. That's 2 clicks. We can check that. Oh, that might have been 3 clicks. Got fluid pouring out of the cooler hose here. Nope, that was definitely only 2 clicks. Now I happen to know the measurements, which puts it at a little less than 300 thou, or 0.3 of an inch. I got a feeling that this one is going to be a little bit snug. But we need to go to that click. Now that's click 3. Now the reason I know the numbers here is because I measured them before. And before we had 780, which is basically from here down to here we had 0.780, which is not the same as on a Chevy bell housing. I can't stress that enough. If you're looking for the 1/8 or whatever it is on a Chevy bell housing, you're not going to find it on this. And that's partly because it's got like a dished flywheel, and it's also got a spacer between the motor and the transmission, and there's plastic falling off of my... Anyways, I measured it before and we had 780. Unfortunately, we've only got 750 with this one. Whoa. It's crooked as can be too. We need to spin this around a few more times. It's not all the way. I've just stumbled across a problem that apparently I've had, well, since owning the Jeep, and just didn't know that I had the problem. And that is the diameter of this, which, because it's a GM, is 1.7. Now it's the same as the one that I pulled out of the Jeep, and it's the same as the B&M that was just in the Jeep. But it's not what it's supposed to be. It also means we don't get to put a transmission in this second, because we got to order a bushing. Basically, the hole in the end of the crank snout is larger than this by like 90 thou. So this would just be sitting in there, floating around on the flex plate. And it would probably be fine, well, it was fine, clearly, for thousands and thousands of miles, because, well, the converter I just pulled out didn't have one. I don't know what wear we're going to find in that transmission because of it, but the short version is it wasn't in there and it should have been in there. So, yeah, I guess we're waiting for that. The good news is I found one from Novak Adapters. I don't know when it'll get here. This is the bushing that I didn't have last time that's supposed to go around here that fits into the crank. Now I'll tell you a secret. When I change my pants, I don't have a knife anymore. I'll tell you something about shipping things in Canada. This bushing cost $40 Canadian, which is pretty expensive when you see what it is. Then I paid $40 in shipping to get it to Canada, which was, it was meant to be a rush. It took 2 weeks. Then, before I could pick it up, this was $40. And before I could pick it up, I had to pay another $40 for brokerage? I don't even know what brokerage is, but by the time I got this bushing, it was $120. Which is not to fault the company that I purchased it from. Like, I do not hold that against them. I hold that against Canada, or FedEx, or UPS, or whoever sent this to me. UPS! That right there. That's all we needed. It's a steel ring. It's not even like a wear bushing, but it has to fit over this, which it does. Does it fit over this one? Yes. And it has to fit inside my crankshaft. All right. There's our new bushing installed. The plate mounted. We're going to throw the flex plate on there and carry on. Now, incidentally, I've installed this transmission no less than 5 times and never noticed that that bushing wasn't there. And you know, I had a lot of transmission failure, and I'm not saying those two things are related. But also, I've had a lot of transmission problems, and that's a pretty significant fault, so maybe we'll have better success this time. Now, before we install this flywheel, I just remembered something important. This torque converter has large holes. Large holes need large fasteners. And large fasteners need large holes. And those don't quite go. We just need to hog them out a little bit, you know? Which means dogs get to go for a walk, and they'll be happy about that. What do you think, buddy? We're gonna go for a walk? Oh, buddy? Alright, let's go. Luna, you're so far ahead. Is there lots to smell? Hey, how about some eye contact? People like you, you know. Playing hard to get, hey? Now, I'm not saying like this is the best tool for the job, but it'll certainly work. I like Christmas tree bits. It'll be in the same spot. Like, it'll still be round when you're done. You know? We'll just stuff it in there. This one is exactly the right size all the way in. So we don't even have to worry about making a stop point. I'm just gonna hog it out a little bit, you know? Just a little bit. Just like that. Perfect. Okay, this garage feels like a mess today. It's driving me crazy, but we are carrying on. Pick, sit down. It's not that heavy. You can do it. Oh, maybe it's that heavy. Oh, maybe I shouldn't do this. No, too late. Well, I hope I still have a pan. Oh, that sounded bad. There goes the paint job. No. Go back in there. There we go. Alice, it's just a train. You've heard it a million times. But the whistle's different. You're right. Well, now we've got the transmission ready to go in, and the flywheel ready to receive the transmission, we're just gonna go for it. And we're not gonna film too much because I got a pretty short day, and well, we got a lot to do. I'm not convinced we're gonna get it done, but we are gonna try because we got a lot of projects lined up to do, and this ain't even the half of it. Cracker, can you sit nice? Can you pound it? Yeah, how about the other paw? Yeah. That's a good dog. You're very responsive when treats are involved, hey? Did I miss you or what happened here? Pow! Bang! Good boy. Good boy. I wanted to show you one thing mid-workflow. And that is, I don't know if you can see this. This is just a plate that I bent to hold the torque converter from falling out. It's the first time I've ever done that, and I've decided I really like it because you don't have to pull it out till the very last minute. Transmission's already at an angle, And that way, you can be pretty confident that your torque converter didn't, you know, whoop, by accident. So I like that. So we're bolted up tight now. And if we go to turn this, it doesn't move. Which means either my converter has slid forward, which I don't think it did, or we need a thicker plate in here. Now there are selective washers that will move that converter forward and backwards, but we already have the smallest one in there, and we were thinking in advance and actually ordered a heavier plate. Okay, we have pulled it out. We've put in the new spacer plate, which is just a little heavier, and now we got lots of room here. Now I realized something else. When I checked it before with the old plate, we almost made a screw up because it wasn't actually jammed that tight against it. It had just got stuck in the new bushing. So it seemed a lot tighter than it was. There was clearance there, but I didn't figure that out till I had the transmission basically held in by one bolt and falling off. So it wasn't as bad as it looked, but it definitely wasn't enough clearance regardless. Now what you do in order to check that clearance is you get a drill index like this one. And you need all those. So now what you do in order to check that clearance is I got two nails here, and I put my old vernier caliper across it, and the little guy is just shy of 1/8 and the big guy is just shy of 3/16. So hopefully the little guy fits through and the big guy is too tight. That's gonna be, you know, Master Menos or whatever. Can confirm it's good. The little nail fits through sloppily and the big nail doesn't fit at all. So está bien or good enough or whatever. For the record, I've been trying to learn Spanish for about the last 15 years and we don't quite have a handle on it yet, but we're getting there. On the next step of failure and bad news, a little bit. The starter doesn't fit in the starter hole. I'll show you. So the starter goes into this hole, right? And this is a new plate that I had machined based off the sample I gave them. Over here, we have the starter. Now, see, it's got this lip that sits there, and that's supposed to sit in there. It actually has to center it to get it in the right spot relative to the flywheel. But this hole is about 30 thou too small. Which in my opinion is quite a bit. I don't have time to wait for a new plate. It's a Sunday or Saturday or something. Anyways, I get like 1 or 2 days a week to work on this. I don't have time to wait for another one. So basically we're just gonna massage that hole out. Cross our fingers that the starter's in the right place to engage the flywheel properly. And we'll carry on. Now, should I be removing the transmission and taking that plate down, massaging it out? Yeah. But did I already do up all the torque converter bolts and a bunch of tranny bolts, making it more difficult? Yeah. So am I just going to take my die grinder and hog it out right in place? Starter's in. Only took a few tries to get her, you know, rounded out enough to work. Before we do anything else, we're now just gonna bump the starter, make sure the engagement sounds like it always did. It doesn't sound good in this thing. We're just going for the same. I think I remember what it sounds like good enough to do that. Now we don't want it to accidentally start, so, oh, I don't have keys, cool. Hang on. Okay, now ignition is turned off. Just gonna give it a quick little. And that's what it's always sounded like, so we're in business there. On to the next step. Well, we started working on getting the T-case in and turned on some background music, and we did some Lainey Wilson and some Lana Del Rey, and got to some Akon songs and hit a little Willie Nelson. And it was all still going kind of a particular way. And that particular way we weren't filming for it. Finally, some Hank Williams came on and everything sort of turned around. Anyways, T-case is in now. I'll show you. It's there. It's not very attractive to look at, but the cross member's in, the T-case is bolted in. Progress is being made. Not as fast as I'd like, but progress is being made. Those two big pieces are in. That's a good start. Oh, I didn't mean to bonk you. Yes, oh, please stop breathing in my face. You smell bad. Don't be offended about it. It's just the truth. So, we didn't finish Sunday night. Like even close. We had some, prior social obligations. That seemed like a good thing to go do. And also the Heather half and I took a trip down to Cochrane in her new beater Jeep, and we picked up a spare transmission for Project Jeep Street. So, well, not really a spare, but parts for a transmission. Anyways, we did not finish with this transmission install. So throughout the last week, I sort of got after everything else that was under there. Let me give you a quick tour. Drive shaft is in, T-case is in, mount is in, front drive shaft is in, transmission is buttoned up and ready to roll, cooler lines are in, tranny cooler is flush, torque converter's done up. It's what you might call done at this point in time, aside from one piece of exhaust. Oh, and a e-brake cable, as I just saw now. Anyways, barring those two things, it's ready to start and see if it moves. Which, it's a pretty big deal. I don't know if you guys realize this, but I've been rebuilding this transmission for, I think, 2 months. Which, I'm not proud of that. And it's not, efficient, but it took a long time at least. So, I forget where I was going with this. Anyways, I'm going to get a piece of exhaust on, and then we're going to start it and put some fluid in it and see if it moves, I guess. Here we go. We're really close. In case you hadn't guessed what step this is the last step before you start it. Now we are using some premium ATF. By premium, I mean bulk. But it's a good deal. And I think it's probably adequate for the type of rebuild we just did. We're ready. The moment has arrived. There's quite a bit of... I'm a little nervous. We're gonna find out what happens here, but it could be good, or it could be the end of the video if it isn't good, I guess. I could just walk away, get rid of all my projects, quit YouTube, quit being a mechanic. If it doesn't work, we could just sell the acreage and move into town. I could just quit all of this and I would have no stress about it anymore. Maybe we should just see if the transmission works. just gonna let it idle there and park for a while. Hopefully warm up, I guess. And just keep an eye on the level for a minute. Alright. It's getting really bad smelling in here. And this thing running. Got an exhaust leak and, well, it doesn't exactly run clean with an exhaust leak. I don't know which gear the T-case is in because I can never remember up is high or low or whatever, but we're gonna pull the gear stick into a gear and see if the wheels go round and round. Now I gotta decide, are we gonna like call our quits for the night and be like happy? Or are we gonna take it off the stands at the risk of potential disappointment? Because like while we've got a portion of this battle won, we have no idea if it has a second gear or a third gear or if it'll shift or anything like that. So there's considerations to make, you know? I was gonna leave it, now that I know that it moves. And leave it for tomorrow, finish on a high note, but I gotta know if all the gears are there. So we're gonna give it a go. We're gonna go down the gravel, I think. That's as far as we're gonna push it for today, because that has already been a long episode and an even longer conclusion to this.
And I didn't bring my walking shoes.
Thanks, Heather. Appreciate the vote of confidence. episode of Heathen's Garage. Really appreciate you guys watching and subscribing. And hey, if you made it through the whole like 10-part transmission series, man, that was a lot. But I sure do appreciate it. Thanks for watching and subscribing. Bye.